Now we are joining by our new source, which is Alin. So Alin, as a business enthusiast and also business, what do you call it?
Correspondent, maybe?
Business correspondent. Yes, that's
Expert.
right. Because usually we're talking about our stock market, right? And now you're talking about business, which is really good for us to give us, a wider idea on the matter. So Indonesia is obviously in love with their tempe and tofu, which made from soybean. So how much soybean do we produce locally compared to the amount that we import?
Yes, Rory. So this has been a hot issue in the country right now. Indonesia needs 3 million tons of soybean every year, yet Indonesia's soybean production has been far behind, Rory, only around 500,000 to 700,000 tons per year. In 2021 or last year, Indonesia imported 2.49 million tons of soybean, amounted 1.48 billion US dollars in value, or more than 21 trillion rupiah. Indonesia's soybean imports value jumped around 47% last year, Rory. So let's see. Indonesia, as we know, has relied on imports to fulfill more than 80% of soybean domestic demands. Let's take a look now at the main suppliers for Indonesia soybean imports. As we all know, number one, we have the United States. Has been number one soybean supplier for Indonesia, as Indonesia imported 2.15 million tons of soybean valued at 1.29 billion US dollars. United States supplied 87% of Indonesia domestic demands. Canada is next, the second biggest soybean supplier to Indonesia, sending 232 tons of soybean to Indonesia. And other than that, Indonesia also imported 89.9 tons of soybean from Argentina, not that much compared to the United States. Rory and Alia.
That's interesting. So we are very much relying on imports for our soybean. And with the price of soybean soar in the global market from 12 US dollars to 16 US dollars, what is the next from the government? We don't want to have that small scale tempe. Ali.
Yes, we don't want our temper to be downgraded, right? So,
Yeah.
as you mentioned before, Alia, global soybean commodity price has soared from 12 US dollar per bushel to 16 US dollar per bushel, a fresh new high since May 2021. And Indonesia Trade Minister Muhammad Lutfi said the price volatility was due to heat wave and drought in South America that threatens the soybean crops production there and also global supplies. Other than that, the strong demands for soybean from hogs farming industry in China, also the cost. China imports almost 100 million tons of soybean, much more than Indonesia each year, to make protein-rich soy meal for its huge livestock sector. Earlier, Chinese importers have been counting on abundant and cheap soybean supplies so far from Brazil to start arriving this month to fulfill the needs for the first quarter of 2022. But unfortunately, the South American crop issues have now caught some off guard. In China, soy meal futures soared to record high 3,792 yuan, or 596.2 US dollars per ton this week, on two concerns. First, the scale of South America's drought hit soybean crop, and the second, tightening meal supplies in China's domestic market. So those are some factors affecting soybean price in global and also domestic markets. Indonesia Trade Minister Muhammad Lutfi said he has prepared some policies in response to the rising prices of soybean, and the policy responses will be announced next week. I'll keep you updated on this, and the government responses are needed, of course, as the rise of soybean prices have affected the price of fermented products of soybean in Indonesia, like tofu and tempeh, as you mentioned, Alia and also Rory.
That's interesting, Alan. Can
Wow.
we just make our homemade tempeh, guys? Like just plant soy in our front or rear yard,
And
and
a
then
some
we
Rory.
cultivate it and we make our own tempeh. Would that be possible?
Well,
I
we
think so,
probably
but it
can.
doesn't guarantee that it will be cheaper if we just,
Well, I don't want to
buy
get
it.
my tempeh thin. I want it thick. and also solid. So I'm just gonna
Well,
try
this
to
is this is
plan my
certainly a
own
big
store.
challenge for the global economy in the future, especially in 2022, because the food commodities, some of them are actually rising quite high. So one of the agendas of G20 is going to talk about this as well. Hopefully, they can tackle this kind of issues as well during the G20. Well, Alim, thank you so much. I guess it's time for us to cut down our tempeh consumption, especially the fried one, because the oil, cooking oil, is also very expensive right now.
I don't think I
Thank you
can
for the
do
report,
that.
Yeah.
Alim.
Oh yeah, Alan, thanks
Thank
so
you,
much.
Alia and Rory.